I want to welcome in the guy who's forgotten more about politics than most of us will ever know. He's Michael Shure. And Michael, I was just saying, California doesn't seem as though it would be a place where there would be much. You don't have to put your picture on. You can just give us audio. It's fine. But I wanted to know from you why you think and where you think in California there are key races, and why are there such close races in a place that seems to be kind of a blue state.
Yeah, Mark. So I have to just preface this. I don't know if you can hear me, but you're coming in all distorted on my end. I've been trying to get this.
Well,
right,
you sound great. I mean, I'll tell you honestly, there's no distortion on your end. So you speak, and I'll shut up. So go ahead.
Well, I can't really understand what you're saying, but I know we're talking about California. I only know when you've stopped speaking, but I know we're talking about California politics, and I know we're talking about this election, and where there might be tight races, or where there may be statewide Republican strength in a place where we didn't expect it. And frankly, I don't think there is. I think that what you're seeing congressional races and maybe candidates who on a generic ballot are saying that they would like to select their representatives off of 2018 and off of 2020. So I look at a certain number of districts, especially in Southern California, where you're looking at Mike Levin's district, you're looking at Young Kim's district, Orange County districts. Mike Levin has a little bit of San Diego County, and then you're looking at Katie Porter. These are districts that were tight to begin with, and when they were drawn as not as friendly as people in the Democratic Party in California wanted them to be. So you have the president coming to California for a congressional race. It just shows you how precarious the Congress is when he's coming out here to speak on behalf of Mike Levin, but also how important it is to have the attention. So there's Democratic, when you live in a state that is so far in one direction or the other, you get this kind of comfort level with assuming, and you get a little bit of laziness on the part of the voter. They look at a race like Mike Levin's race, and they say, okay, if we're going to have any hope of holding on to the House, I'm not saying that there is, but I'm saying if we have any hope, or if we want to keep those margins less, we've got to win this seat, and we have to energize voters. Does Joe Biden do that? Well, the president coming in at least raises awareness of the fact that this is closer and gets Democrats
out. That's what I was going to ask you. Does Biden help? Who can help? There are the national figures help?
I think you asked who can help, and then I didn't hear the last part. It sounded like do the help. But what I'm going to answer is that it's not generally about one person in this case with Joe Biden. It's about helping raise awareness, as I said before. It's about saying, all right, this is a close race, so maybe I should get out there and vote, even though I'm not inclined to, even though I'm not motivated to. Are there national figures? In certain places, absolutely. You have Bill Clinton campaigning on behalf of Sean Patrick Maloney in New York. Well, he is somebody who might resonate there where he might not resonate in Florida, for example. You have Barack Obama going to these big Senate races in big cities. They're for Mandela Barnes in Milwaukee. Well, everybody who knows that race well thinks that Mandela Barnes, who's challenging Ron Johnson in Wisconsin for that Senate seat, knows that Milwaukee turnout among black voters is important. There's no better surrogate than Barack Obama. We don't know how good a surrogate Joe Biden is. This is his first midterm. He's a popular guy among Democrats, but he's not, the kind of person that is going to make people swoon in their seats. But what I said before holds true, which is that making people aware, Democrats especially, aware of the fact that things might not be going so well, their vote is important in a race that they might be taking for granted. I think when you see a president fly across country, it does that.
What else should we watch in these last few days?
Look, I think this is going to be, again, I heard what else should we watch? And what we should be watching is how the polling early on, so when you see early results on the East Coast, how that matches up with the polling. We've talked a lot about on your show about the sort of inefficiencies of polling, how the pollsters are learning how to do their job better. If we find that the polls are way off on the East Coast, it may, in fact, as the results come in across the country, show you that there is there are still flaws in polling, and maybe it's not as bad for the Democrats as some polling indicates. Today, there was a CNN poll that said that the generic ballot has Democrats down by, I think it was 4 points. Another poll came out today saying that the Democrats are up by 4 points in generic ballot. Generic ballot is one of those sense of the country issues, and the generic congressional polls generally lead you to know what is going to happen and what's on voters' mind. You have them diverging right now, and that in and of itself creates a lot of unknowns coming up next Tuesday. And I think that Democrats are going to be looking for anything they can hold on to that gives them any semblance of hope. And I think that the accuracies in some polls and the inaccuracies in others are going to be what holds them. And also the fact that turnout in places where there are tight races could be up in places where they need it to be.
Michael, thank you. Michael Shure, everybody, joins us on Fridays typically. Hope that he can work out for Friday, but appreciate you answering the bat beam today. Michael Shure, everybody. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Michael Shure.